Good evening. This is Accounting 230171. My name is Demetrius Dukes. I'm a hired accountant for Lamar Fortune 100 Company. I've been hired to work for Miss Seahawk to go over these numbers for her latest business venture. Uh, I have to go over these points with her business monies expenditures here. Starting with the first point here, she has personally withdrawn $11,500 from her personal account to invest in a company called Mars Education Consulting Company. So what I did is I took 11,500 and debited that as for a cash account, and also debited 11,500 as her startup capital as a credit, and it's also considered an asset. Number two, she has also uh, used $8,000 to purchase equipment. And what we did, we debited her account for $8,000 and also credited her account for accounts payable for $8,000, and is also considered an asset. Our third point, she has also paid $4,000 for employee salaries. Now, with that $4,000 in wages, it also is considered an expense. So what we did is took that $4,000 and credit that to the cash account as it decreases the cash account, and with the other $4,000 and also as a debit expense. And for our next point here, we see is also uh, another journal entry is for $2,000 is for the has been moved towards for question two of the $8,000. So what we did is we debited that $2,000 under accounts receivable, and we credited $6,000 for accounts receivable, and we debited $6,000 under the cash count. Our next point, we move around for 20 next journal entries for $25,000. That $25,000 is for has been annotated, was supposedly supposed to be for bill to a client. Now, for right now, what we did is debited that $25,000, and we also credited that $25,000 for the time being. And as I was passing that by during the hall, Miss Seahawk had mentioned she wanted to debit $25,000 to the cash account and credited to revenue. Now, she's partially correct. Yes, we debited. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me. Forgive me. We credited the revenue, but we could not debit the cash account, solely being that the monetary funding has not arrived, and we do not know the time of arrival of its whereabouts. So therefore, we had to consider it to be a consult fee as coming from the client. So over time, we don't know if it comes from it could take from a week to a month, or even per quarter, which is about 3 months. And so, with that being said, going over these expenditures, I conducted a trial balance. Now, as for the trial balance, as you can see here, we have, as for the trial balance, we have as cash, we have 5,500 here. We have equipment for 8,000. We have wage expenses for 4,000. We have accounts receivable for 25,000, as you can see. We also, for a total of $42,500. We move over to the credit side. We have the capital, was the startup capital was at 11.5. We have the consulting fees for 25,000. We have accounts payable for the $6,000, which also equals a total of 42,500. Moving along down to the income statement for the ending of the month of September. Moving on to the revenue, we put the consulting fees for 25,000. We have the wage expenses for 4,000. We subtracted the two totals here, which gives us a net income of $21,000. We're moving on to the balance sheet. As we move to the balance sheet, we have our assets, which is us. We have our cash is $5,500. We have our accounts receivable, which is $2,500. Our computer equipment, which is $8,000, totaling out at $38,500, as you see here. Moving over to our credit side, we have our accounts payable at $6,000. Our Seahawk capital, which was $32,500, which was arranged from our previous over here on down with the other thing, which comes up as our previous capital with our increase, which comes out to $38,500. Now, the ones that's different that changed was our capital. We can verify that if we move down to the statement of owner's equity, which we have since once Miss Seahawk had invested in this company, we had no monies to give, so it was zero balance. But once we invested, it became to $11,500, and the net income was $21,000, which verifies it comes out to $32,500, which made the capital at $32,500. So there you have it, Miss Seahawk. We have verified all your monetary funding, and thank you so much for allowing me this time and effort to sit with you and verify all your expenditures. And I hope you have a nice day, and God bless, and thank you so much, and I hope I have an opportunity to work with you again. Have a wonderful evening.